Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode number 2 of How to Calculate for Beginners. Today we are going to be looking at 2 of my personal games, so let's get into it. Okay, so this is the first game we're going to be looking at. It's really important that we see I have a knight and a queen pointed at this pawn, and it only has one defender. He has a bishop and a knight pointed at this pawn, one defender. It is now my opponent's turn. My idea, I really wanted to get this knight here for a check, especially with there being only one defender. Because if he moves anywhere, I have this, and then it's allowing me to put pressure here and also allowing me to put some more pressure here. The best move for my opponent, and the move that the engine really likes, is to just block the position, not to allow me to get in like this. Unfortunately for my opponent, and it didn't matter which order he takes with, he's going to end up in the same kind of scenario. Unfortunately, he took with the bishop. And what he thought was that I would take with the bishop, and then he could just return the favor with the knight. Pressure here, maybe go for this later. But because of this check, which is what I played, the queen cannot take because the queen will be lost. So I ended up taking. Knight took. I took with the bishop, and then again, I don't think my opponent was calculating. He just saw a free pawn and went for it. And this is at the 16, almost 1700 level elo. He just went for that and gave me a free rook. So that's why it's always important, take that little bit of extra time. Because you even see, my opponent has 2 more whole minutes on the clock than me. And the other scenario that I wanted to run by, for those of you that were interested, if the knight takes, I take with the bishop, he would take the bishop and then be in the exact same scenario. I would check, and then I would take the bishop in return. It'd be a little different. He probably wouldn't have lost the rook, but it would still not be a pleasant scenario for my opponent. Okay, so this is the second game that we're going to be looking at here. My opponent just moved from a5 to a2. I would assume to put another defender on this square because there's going to be a lot of pressure in this corner. So just like I talked about in episode 1, we want to be as forcing as we can, like possibly can. We have a huge advantage in this scenario. He has some attacking possibilities later on, but he really should be focusing on defense because I believe the engine had this like as a mate in 6 if he's really not paying attention. So I wanted to be as forcing as possible. And what is a better forcing way than promoting to a queen? He has 2 options here. Or I guess he has 3 options. He could defend with a queen, in which case, say he defends with a queen. I have a smothered mate. So he's not going to want to do that. If he defends with the knight, I have this checkmate. Let's say, or he can take with the rook, in which case I take, and I believe, let me go back, I believe that's what he actually did in the game. Yes, so in the game, he took with the rook. So that's our third option. So we, like I said, we want to keep doing as many forcing moves as we possibly can. So we'd go down the exact same route. Check. What are the only options? The options are block with the rook, or block with the knight, I mean. in which case I have this smothered. He can take with the queen, and then I win a queen, and then there's no way I should lose this game. I can clean up a little bit, I can get the rook in here, I could get this bishop right here, and then a few moves down the road, it's going to be checkmate. And then the only other option was to come here, in which case you'd fall into a smothered mate.